My happy place, safe place was it bounced around to a bunch of different places. I eventually settled in my grandparents' house. And specifically, it was like a early like Saturday morning, sitting around the kitchen table, solving a crossword with my mom and my grandma,
Yeah.
because we did that like every time we go down there. Um, and it just felt very safe. I don't know what it is about going to a grandparent's house, but like once you walk through the door, like everything else disappears outside of the house. Um, and so then the burden um, I had was kind of the like uncertainty with like my future, and then also like with relationships. And so to like split that up, like specifically with my future, right now my plan is after I graduate to spend a year over doing missions work in the Middle East.
Wow.
But I also have like my dream job kind of like lined up. And so in order for me to do the missions, I'm going to have to like turn down that offer. Um, and that's not something that I really want to do. Um, and then also my dad is very like career focused. He's very like money focused. And to him, like me turning down a job offer would be like blasphemy. And I like dread having that conversation with him. Um, but I know that's something that's like gonna have to happen at some point. And so just like carrying around that burden of having to have that conversation, and then also having to tell my parents, especially my mom, that I'm going to do missions in the Middle East for a year is not exactly like an easy conversation to have. I've been there before for last summer for just part of the summer, but for a whole year is like a little bit of a different story. Um, Especially since I won't be able to like visit home or anything. So that's like a challenge with like worrying about my future and what that's going to look like. And then also like relationships, like specifically I think like friendship wise, I've like looked back at a lot of my close friendships over the past couple of years, and they've all kind of like ended in a sense. Just like I pour everything into them, and then for one reason or another, like they all seem to kind of just like fizzle out after a couple of years. And that's just like really hurts because it just like I pour my whole heart into it, and then yeah, it just like breaks me. Um, and so like with that burden, like I guess I was imagining myself sitting at this table, and like Jesus was sitting next to me, and he asked me to hand over my burden, and so it was in my heart. And so like reaching into my heart somehow and like grab out like this, it was like a black orb in a sense of just like everything nasty that I could think of. And like I was picturing like a lot of like fishing, like lead weights and like anchors, and just like death, and just yeah, I don't know what else was in there, and just like handing it to him, and he like grabbed it, and it was just like the image was like it turned into like this like pure white light that like dissipated into the room, and like the whole room was like shining super brightly, and everyone was just like smiling. It was just like I felt super light, like I was like felt like a feather. And he said that he's going to give me my life, but he wants me to. All he asks is that I live it, following him, in faith with him, and I live it boldly and fearlessly.